This guy's name has been brought up a lot in the trade talks, and he's tearing it up in the AAA. Since his promotion, Spencer Jones, Yankees' top hitting prospect in their system, he is. You could argue George Lombard as well. I mean, but he's not having a great season in the minors if you look at his stats. But Spencer Jones, first round pick, built like Aaron Judge, lefty version of Aaron Judge is what people have been praising for him. Like just a statue and how big he is and how powerful he is. He's hitting 426 with a 481 on base, a 1.422 OPS with 10 home runs, 20 ribbies, and 16 AAA games. Joel, is this guy untouchable for the Yankees to trade, or is it a great trade chip to have going into the deadline?
So I think it's as big. I wrote about a week ago
Yeah.
what I thought the biggest questions for the team was, and I think number one for me is who's Spencer Jones, right? And I said, where on the Joey Gallo to Aaron Judge's big strapping athletic hitter is he? Um, and I don't know what to make of AAA numbers. Any scout who's covering, and I think this is just part of their template. They all love to shit on the game. And so they all say, it's never been worse down there and whatever. But like Alan Winans dominated AAA as a pitcher. If he's dominating AAA as a pitcher, I wonder how good are the other pitchers and how good are the hitters? Because I know he doesn't belong in the major leagues, right? The Yankees know it also. They didn't bring him up. They went with an opener on Friday night when Schlittler came down with an arm injury. So it's always, you don't have to tell me. It's not what you do. It's not what you say. It's what you do. The Yankees could have brought up Winans, who stretched out to be a starter to start that game. They thought they had a better shot to win not having him on the team. They only bring him back up to the team because they used so much pitching that night. He's the last guy on the 40-man roster who was healthy.
Yeah.
I think Brett Diedrich just came back now. I think the kid Arias just came back, who had both been missing a lot this year. So maybe they, at some point, if they need depth again, they could go to one of those places after the trade deadline if they don't solve it. But yeah, I think the Jones thing's fascinating. He, at the very least, and what we can't know, right? I always stick Michael. Again, people nice enough to watch this show a lot will know how much I always talk about Stick and how nice he was to me, a young reporter. Hopefully I was a curious reporter who was asking the right stuff, but he was nice to me regardless. And he would explain the world to me, like how the wheel actually works. And he wasn't the first to say it, but he believed it and talked about it. And he constantly went and watched their minor leagues because he was like, the organization you have to know best is your own. You can't get fooled. And go look from 1989, late 1989, when he took over August in 89, till he stopped working at the end of the 94 at the end of the 95 season, and he was still influential that offseason, even he didn't leave the organization. How many prospects they traded, and none of them were named Jeter, none of them were named Williams, none of them was named Posada, none was named Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
You get the picture here, right? None was named Pettit. They were Sterling Hitchcock. They were Russ Davis, who, believe me, at that time, there were lots of people going, you can't trade these guys. They were Lyle Mouton. They were Fernando Seganal. Like Stick knew what it looked like. He had a real savantism for it. And so the Yankees, and probably the person who's most important for this is Tim Nearing, who goes and scouts the Yankee organization hard year after year, will know. Has Spencer Jones made real adaptation that works in the major leagues? Is he a good learner? Is he a good teammate? Does he have, you know, the Yankees have to know this best. They have to know. And I think even if they feel they know it on the trade side, there is something about what Jones is doing right now, his size, his athleticism, his bat speed, the opposite field power, that makes risk-averse people say, I can't trade him and have him hit 55 homers someplace else. It's it's a fear-based sport.
Yeah.
People like whenever I say something like, why don't the Twins trade Joe Ryan? And people will say, because then you traded Joe Ryan. And if he's like getting carried off the field at the end of the World Series, you have to live with your fan base going, why didn't you put a team around him who could do that? Look at him. He just won game 7 of the World Series with 8 shutout innings. And so it's a fear-based thing. And so would I say Spencer Jones is untouchable? No. The Yankees are kind of close to all in. But I think it probably has changed probably what other teams are willing to give them to get him, but also what they would give him up for. Like,
Yeah.
for example, I can't imagine Spencer Jones being in a trade now where the Yankees don't get a player who has multiple years of control. Like, they're not getting a walk-year player.
So it's not the Eugenio Suarez trade for
I
Spencer
don't.
Jones.
Yeah, like I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Like,
even though the price will be outrageous because of the competing market for a Eugenio Suarez.
So you know me, I'm always afraid of getting aggregated. So I've literally just thought of this in my head.
Okay.
Like, for example, and it wouldn't be this because Jordan Lawler is going to go play third base if Eugenio Suarez gets traded. And I think there's a pretty high likelihood, even with Arizona having swept the series against St. Louis over the weekend, they're still, I think, like 4th in the wild card, like 4 back of the 3rd spot in the wild card, though it's only about 4 games. And a couple of years ago, they got to the World Series after winning 84 games. So you know they want to go for it, but they have chips that other teams want. And I think they're going to be very realistic about trying to build up their collateral of talent to try to take another shot at this next year when they're healthier. I think they've lost 6 pitchers to Tommy John or elbow surgeries of some significance since the beginning of the year. And they're just, I think, too decimated to kind of get to the playoffs. So I think they'll probably end up being sellers. But like, would the Yankees trade for, so I'm not even going to put a name to it, Eugenio Suarez and say Merrill Kelly and a good prospect for Jones and some, in other words, they get something back that they like.
Gotcha. With control.
Like
something back
like
with
control.
Yeah.
So maybe the highlighted guys are guys who could walk away at the end of the year. But the Yankees still have control of something else that they could put on the field in the future so that they're not just, hey, if you get knocked out in the division series and Suarez and Kelly leave and in the desert, Jones is hitting 50 homers a year.
Right.
You're just sitting and going, well, we got 52 games of these guys and we have nothing but regrets. So I think it's going to be a hard sell. The other thing I would ask is, has it opened up the possibility of trading Dominguez? Though I wonder if Dominguez has hurt his value at all this year by being okay as a rookie, but certainly no Martian, right? Has it opened up the possibility of trading Grisham? Like if you could do you need a center fielder, I need a reliever, third baseman, starter, like this is Grisham at his best. Should you trade at the top of the market and believe like, hey, if some combination of Bellinger, Spencer Jones, and Dominguez and Judge can play center if you need it.
You talking about this season too?
This season. Like in other words, like Grisham's a free agent at the end of the year.
No, so I know, but so in this scenario, just real quick, in this scenario that you're painting here, could they trade Trent Grisham? Let's say they do trade him and they get a great reliever or a good reliever. You're telling me Spencer Jones is going to get called up to the majors if they make that move?
I'm not telling you Spencer Jones is getting called up, and please, this will be that aggregator moment.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I was right here. Yeah,
I'm not saying, but once you're at AAA, and once you're at AAA and performing, you are in the chamber to be fired. Like you're now, like I would say he's doing some stuff at AAA, which if we were watching it be done for the Phillies or the Brewers or the Diamondbacks, we go, I wonder if they're going to call that guy up. Like there's certainly been guys who've only had a pit stop at AAA.
Right.
Now, again, I have no insight from any Yankee person that he's in play, but he's at AAA performing. There is no quadruple A. Like once you get there, like I mean, they talk about it. Once you get to AA, you get on the radar. Once you're in AAA, you're close to land. Like, and once you're in AAA and you're performing, now I think that they probably say, well, we'd like to see him struggle and adapt at AAA, but they're going for a championship this year. If they think that, nobody's jumping to mind this second, but then we certainly could probably find 10 players who have been called up late in the season from AAA. Francisco Rodriguez for the 2022 Angels. So it's always easier as a pitcher, right? Because you're just whatever. But like if they thought, hey, right now, I think he's a better option than Dominguez. Could they do that and send Dominguez down? I mean, I don't put it at 0. I put it as unlikely because they probably want to see Jones play more. But I almost wonder at this point if they have any regrets that they didn't start Jones at AAA.
Yeah, it's a
Just
good.
and just like he's there. Ramon Flores is there now. It's their best catching prospect. I think he's clearly in play for trades, but if not traded and they have a catching injury, though I guess because they have 3 catchers on the roster, that might not matter. Like I think once, like with Schlittler. Schlittler wasn't at AAA very long. Once you're at AAA, there is no next step.
Wow.
That's the step.
Yeah, it's definitely it's perked a lot for Yankees fans. Like, what is going to happen with Spencer Jones? Do they trade him? Do they keep him?
But also, so like I would look at this and look, Jones is doing it at a level much greater than everyone else. But if you're looking at their AAA box scores, like the first baseman Rumsfeld is like killing it. Everson Pereira is killing it again. And so like I do think you have to, like, I get it. Fans love the backup quarterback. You love the guy who isn't playing. When Dominguez wasn't playing last year and Verdugo was, everyone was like, how is Dominguez not here? Well, now you've seen a full season of Dominguez pretty much. Like, this is hard. Major League Baseball's hard. But like looking at how well that whole AAA Yankee team is hitting right now, I'm almost wondering, have the live balls shown up at AAA? Has the pitching, which is never very good and deep at that level, is everybody hit a wall and he's hitting a bunch of 87-mile-an-hour, like quadruple A fastball? So again, the Yankees can't guess at that. The team you have to know the best is your own. Is Spencer Jones like beating up a lot of not very good pitching? Or has he made some real... I've talked to people who think he's made some real adaptation. Has he? I don't know. That's not something... I cannot break down a swing. I trust the people I talk to.
No. Yeah.
People I talk to feel like he's closed up some holes, shortened things up. And look, whatever else, the power is real. You can't go to left center at over 400 feet and not have real power.
No.
And he's done it a bunch now at the highest level that's not the major leagues.
Yeah.
So there's something there. There's something there. The question is, where on the Joey Gallo, he's going to hit 195, strike out 220 times and hit 35 homers and be an athletic fielder and steal some bases, to Aaron Judge, Hall of Famer. He's probably not Gallo, and he's probably not Judge. I think the comparison, a scout I really respected made a Kyle Stowers comp 2 weeks ago. And I think when I wrote that, most Yankee fans were Kyle Stowers, but now that Kyle Stowers hits a homer every day and was an all-star, they're like, oh shit, what if they have Kyle Stowers? like an athletic Kyle Stowers.
Yeah.
Stowers is a very good defender. Like if you have a high defender, if you have a Joey Gallo-esque defender who hits like Kyle Stowers, you'd probably say the under-over for a career, that's probably 3.5 all-star games. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So and not something you can trade. The Orioles traded Kyle Stowers last July 31st and probably regret it now, right? Though Trevor Rogers has pitched a lot better over the last month, but it didn't help them last year. So anyway, I think that there's hardly a more fascinating question over the next 10 days than is Spencer Jones still a Yankee in the Yankee organization on August 1st. I think I will give this insight to our viewers. Again, always so kind to watch us. Yankee scouts, every time I talk to a team, Yankee scouts are everywhere. There was a guy, I was at the Red game on Saturday. There was a Yankee scout there watching the Reds. I have a feeling I'm going to be there Tuesday night. I bet you he's there watching the Angels, who are playing the Mets that night. I know he's not scouting the Mets. So he's got to be scouting. And I know those teams aren't on their future schedule, so he isn't advancing. And I know the guy. I know that's not his coverage teams. So he's there. And so whenever I call up, like, hey, what's going on in Arizona? Oh, so-and-so was sitting behind home plate. So this guy's there. This guy's there. So the Yankees are out. enforce. Brian Cashman who tries to watch his words because he understands the power of them in this marketplace, has put some burden on himself by saying, whatever form of we're going for it. He's tried to qualify by saying the market gives you what the market gives you, but he's acknowledged the shortages in starting, relief, and third base. He's done this a long time. I don't think he says that publicly unless he thinks that in the next, what is today, the 20th?
Today's the 21st.
21st. In the next 10 days, he wouldn't say that if he didn't think in the next 10 days there's a way for him to improve, to add, we never know if it's improving or not, add in all those places.